Let's talk Coachella Valley.
I'm Conrad Negron with Tina Marks, your host for a fun show.
Informative show.
We're going to entertain, explore the Coachella Valley.
Give people a lot of knowledge, a lot of things that you have not heard about. We're going to bring it to you here.
Let's talk the Coachella Valley. I'm Conrad Negron with Tina Marks, your host for a fun show.
For a fun show.
We're back again.
Informative show.
Informative
That's
show.
what I would say.
Experience, education, exploring. Exploring is good. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been on an exploration?
Every day.
Every
day of my life.
Oh, it is.
You know what? It's all the way you look at things, right? Some people look at things like, oh God, it's just another day. And you know what? Life, I don't think, I'm going to get a little philosophical right now. But seriously, the shift in perspective makes life a lot more fun. Even though it's challenging, that's how you get through the challenges. Okay, that's my tip for the day.
I think a short look back and a long look forward is a good way of looking at it. I mean, you can't worry about the burned toast this morning.
Yeah, but you don't want to look too far forward either.
I'm thinking 5 o'clock.
How about the present?
Long term in the stock market's an hour and a half. So, what do you got today? We got some guests today, don't we? I hope so.
I think we have some guests. Yes, I have June from Hiroshima. She is one of the founders, and she plays the koto. It's an amazing band. It's an Asian American jazz, beautiful music, and I'm going to be interviewing her. First
and
up.
I'm going to investigate. I'm going to interview Dan Kurokawa from Kurokawa. Kuramoto.
Oh, I thought you. Okay,
I keep saying it wrong. He's with Hiroshima. They're just so unbelievable. They are world renowned. I mean, they're amazing, aren't they?
They are.
Don't they got 40 albums?
No. 19. Who's counting after 5? No,
I don't know.
19. I think they're working on their 20th. We should actually know that.
They're amazing.
I think it comes out in the interview.
I think so. If we can remember, we're just doing it in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. The computer's full. I got to empty it.
You got to empty it. Hey, we're having fun. There's a lot going on in the Coachella Valley. I've got a really great guest today, Tina.
Another one.
Yeah, Carl Osborne is an author. Pretty well-known attorney out of Beverly Hills, is retired. He's written, I think it'll come out in the interview, I think it's like 12 books, and he's got a new book coming out. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, fantastic.
What about you?
I have Connie Golds, who is from Desert Best Friends Closet, which is a nonprofit organization. She's doing wonderful for the community down here. She's outfitting people who are men and women who are getting back into the workforce. She has a boutique, which is where I buy a lot of my clothes for $5. Everything in the store is $5. But we're going to go and talk to her. And
you never stop shopping, do you? They don't. You ladies don't ever stop shopping. I mean, I actually go out when I go shopping. I go one thing: a couple T-shirts, some socks.
But you're a man. You're a man. But you know what? I do know a lot of women that don't like to shop. I mean,
really?
I find it an art. I really do. And you know, the creative part is never paying full price. That's what I like.
I like discounts. Hey, we're here at Perch. And they've got some great stuff here.
They have amazing stuff. You know, in fact, my oven just broke. And, you know, I was here last week talking to Jim, and he was showing me some ovens. And then I went online and I was looking at the competitors of all, I'm not going to name any names, but you all know who they are. And I thought, oh, they have to be less. He has the same things that they have, but other things. So it's definitely worth coming into Perch and taking a look. It's a beautiful showroom. It's 17,000.
Yeah, 17,000 square feet.
17,000 square feet. You can see it all. He can explain all of it to you. They have an amazing staff. So don't think that you have to go to the chains. Come into Perch right here in Rancho Mirage. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I love it being here. It's my second home.
It's your second home.
Yeah. Thank God they don't sell clothes here, though.
They have kitchens and the refrigerators are empty, so we got to fill those up.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have a good time. Everybody, stay with us. Take a listen. We're talking Coachella Valley.
My tip of the day is bulletproof coffee. If any of you struggle with concentration, focus, and clarity like I do, this is the drink for you, okay? So what it is it's brewed coffee. Organic coffee is the best to get. So you brew your coffee, then you add 1 to 2 tablespoons, they say, of grass-fed unsalted butter and 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw organic coconut oil. Now, it depends on your size. I am little, so I do a teaspoon of each. And what you do is you put your brewed coffee in the blender, and then you add your butter and you add your coconut oil, and you just hit your blender really quick and make sure that you have your hand on top of it, because otherwise it will explode. And what it does is it blends it all together and it acts as a natural creamer. And now here's the thing, if you do add sweetener, the only sweetener you can use is stevia, and all has to do with insulin levels, which I'm not going to go into now. But the benefit of this is that your focus and your clarity is razor sharp, and on top of that, it gives you energy all throughout the day, as opposed to just drinking coffee where you might go up and down, and this is why people are drinking 4 to 5 cups a day, which, by the way, coffee is acidic, so you really don't want to be drinking more than 1 cup a day. This will give you a nice, even energy all throughout the day. So, bulletproof coffee. I don't need the energy, but it doesn't make me have too much energy, even though I'm kind of talking rapidly right now, but that's just kind of me. And the beauty of this is too, you don't have to use regular coffee. I use decaf. So it doesn't have to do with the caffeine, it has to do with the mixture.
Fundamental difference. It's a phrase that's used a lot at Renova Solar and SunPower. It means it's not just business as usual. It means Renova worked hard to be the first nationally accredited company. It means SunPower, an American company, has more than 200 solar patents and the most advanced and efficient panels available. And it means great partners for your solar, whether you buy or lease. Renova Solar, local, brighter, better, and fundamentally different.
What can Impression Design do for you?
I need a dozen embroidered polo shirts for my radio station.
We can do that.
I need 300 screen printed shirts for a school fundraiser.
We can do that.
My company's website's a mess. It looks bad and no one can find us online. Help.
We can do that.
All right, I need a new logo for my radio show. I need a new website with a shopping cart so I can sell stuff. I need business cards. I need shirts for the listeners. Basically, I need everything.
We can do that.
Begin your French adventure at Le Pont. From our wide selection of classic appetizers, followed by one of Le Pont's creative and unique entrees. And if that's not enough, our desserts will amaze you, featuring Le Pont's famous soufflé. Every dish expertly prepared for you by our famous chef, Eddie Babai. Come and visit us.
I would love to cook for you.
Le Pont, a little bit of France on El Paseo.
We're here at the Weston Mission Hills in Rancho Mirage, and I have the pleasure of speaking to June Kuramoto from the band Hiroshima. Welcome, June.
Hi, welcome. Debbie, thank you.
So glad that you're here. So you are playing an event tonight, and let me start first by saying, I understand that you started playing the instrument koto at the age of 6. And for those of you who don't know what a koto is, and I didn't know either until I started doing my research, it is a string, and it, for lack of a better word, it's reminiscent of the harp. Is that true?
I think it's in the zither family, but it is in the, it sounds like a harp.
It does. It's so beautiful. So you started at 6. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I came from Japan to America when I was about 5.5 years old, and my mother was was invited to be in this social welfare organization that helps immigrants assimilate to the American way of life. So they teach you how to make ground beef tacos and things, spaghetti, and so they met once a month, and about not too long afterwards, a koto teacher came to America and joined the club, and I saw her perform, and I asked my mother, I said, Mama, that's what I want to play.
You grew up in Los Angeles, correct?
Yes, basically.
And you formed the band Hiroshima when you were how old?
About, it was in the early 70s when that happened.
And you've been together how long now?
About over 30 years now.
30 years. And how many albums do we have?
We lost track. It's close to 20.
That's what I read. I think you're coming out with a new album right now as we speak.
Yes, we're coming out with an album. This time we're doing songs with words, because most of the time we are an instrumental band, and but this time we are going to do mostly vocals.
Are you going to be singing?
Mm-mm.
No?
Maybe a little background, yeah.
Okay, so who is going to be singing?
We are very fortunate to have Dr. Terry Steele, who's been with us, off and on, and he's also a great, wonderful songwriter. And we have Yvette Neve from Hawaii with a gorgeous, beautiful voice and spirit.
Beautiful. Now, do you write a lot of the songs?
I'm one of the principal writers, yes. Dan is the basic principal writer, then Kimo, our keyboard player, and then me.
Where do you find your inspiration?
Most of my inspiration comes while driving.
Interesting. Mine comes from hiking.
Driving, but a lot of it comes from my daughter.
I heard that there's a story behind the song 1,000 Cranes.
Yes, that.
Would you like to share that?
if you don't mind. That's one of the songs that was inspired by my daughter. In 5th grade, that was one of the readers. And she came home and said, "Mommy, you got to read this book." And I'm reading this book, and I was just crying. It's about a little girl who survived the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. And she thought that she survived, and she was about 1.5 years when the bombing happened. But then later on, as she was growing older, she was having trouble running. And then they found out she had leukemia from the radiation. So she was hospitalized, and her friend told her, if you fold 1,000 cranes, paper folded cranes, the origami cranes, that maybe you can wish for the pain to go away. So she started folding the cranes, but around 644 she passed. Her classmates started finishing the 1,000 and buried it with her. But then when the story got out, children from all over the world folded cranes and sent them to the city of Hiroshima. There's a beautiful monument there for her, and they have folded paper cranes there. The important thing was to keep her legacy alive by continuing the message of peace and hope. And so that's why it's important to keep playing it, to keep the message alive.
I think that's a beautiful story. Now, you're on tour right now? I understand you're on tour.
Yes, we've been traveling all month long. I mean, mostly of them are weekends, but we came back from Galveston last weekend, and the weekend before we were in the Northern Cal, Monterey, San Mateo, and San Jose.
Do you enjoy touring?
I really do, but we don't really get to see. You come in, you have sound check, you play, then you have to leave.
You don't get to experience the place that you're playing.
No. We don't get to play golf tomorrow.
Do you play golf?
No.
That's funny. How would you say that your music has changed?
I hope there's growth in there that, I think I'm too close to it. But as long as it comes from the heart, that's what I always, hope for, is whatever you write, it comes from the heart, and hopefully the heart grows so that the music reflects that.
Yeah, I feel the same ways. Well, it's been a pleasure. Next up, Conrad is going to be interviewing Dan Kuramoto from the band Hiroshima.
Hi, thanks, Tina. Conrad Negron here with Dan Kuramoto with Hiroshima. How are you?
Good. How could it not be good? I mean, look where we are. Look at this beautiful property, and look at the weather. It's in Hawaii, they call it Ono, right? It's perfect.
It's very Ono. It's the kind, isn't it?
It is.
Hiroshima, how many years? 35, 40? How many years have you guys been doing this?
Let's see. I could stretch this into a long fabricated story, but we started the very first time we realized we had something in 1974. Wow. So I can't do the math, but it's a long time.
Well, we got a lot in common.
Yeah.
Where were you born?
I was born in East LA at White Memorial Hospital.
Well, see, I was born in East LA at Beverly Hospital, so we're like, what's the inspiration? Your wife, your ex-wife, who was just talking to Tina, you guys are still, your best friend. You're still working together.
Yeah, well, 24/7, as we talked a little bit before, is tough. But, to be blessed to work with someone not only as good a human being as she is, but on her instrument, as Stanley Clarke says, she's the world's greatest koto player, period. And to be around that kind of talent that is so passionate about doing things that kind of combine what she does and her instrument with all styles of Western music, from R&B to jazz to salsa to rock, it's been a great journey, and it's still fun and it's still challenging every day. We're recording a new record right now, all with vocals.
18th, 19th album?
22nd, I think.
22nd?
Yeah, something like that.
I was trying to count.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it's kind of, your music kind of is a crossover, where East meets West. Is that a good way of looking at it?
Yeah. No, yeah. From East LA to
the,
yeah, right.
to the Western Hemisphere.
Well, she grew up, she was born in Japan. She came to the United States when she was 6, and she grew up in West LA, oddly enough. And I grew up, of course, in East LA, and I went to Roosevelt and stuff. The bottom line is that, like, we want to integrate the musical styles, and that's why we really see ourselves as American music. I mean, that's really what we do, but we're integrating another element of the American cultural component and into the mix.
How did you guys come up with the name?
Really, that was my brother's idea. We were both going to art school at Cal State Long Beach, where I later became a assistant professor, believe it or not. But
You're too young for that.
No, I went to play on the tennis team, but then I kind of got into the arts hippie crowd, and it was too much fun. So and my brother, he was going there in art school too, and we thought, it'd be really good and positive if we could make a musical statement that reflected our culture, as American Japanese. At the time, we never thought we would be that band. But when we came up with the idea, it was like, what would we call it? And in those days, there was bands like Chicago and stuff like that.
So you were blowing up, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is that we wanted to give it something that had a kind of particular meaning to us, but to everyone else. And we thought of Hiroshima as that's the city where they dropped the atomic bomb. It was the first nuclear bomb, and of course, we were born after that. But I mean, when we see this planet sees the kind of destruction that was, it's a lesson that we have to carry with us to move forward in peace, because we can't be doing that. And so we wanted to do that and make it a musical expression, both in terms of peace, but also in terms of joy too. And on the other side of that, make life a celebration. So it's sort of up from the ashes, and that was our whole intention with the name.
I love it. Dan Kuramoto with Hiroshima. Dan, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
All right.
We'll do it again. Well, all right, homie. Hi, my financial strategy tip for today is about private equity. A lot of people don't understand private equity. They're mostly investing directly at the stock market and NASDAQ. Their 401ks are sometimes exposed to the volatility of the stock market. A lot of people have been investing both in hedge funds and private equity. As an example, I've got a company that started a fund about 2 years ago and has made some acquisitions of some companies, and their valuations have appreciated in the 30 to 40% range, which is indicative of what the portfolio is going to be doing for you. So my advice is call me and we can have a conversation with the CEO and managing partner of the fund, and they can give you some ideas about a 3 to 5 year investment strategy as opposed to exposing yourself to the volatility of the stock market. I'm still bullish a little bit on the stock market, but a lot of people sometimes are the last to know that there's a big sell-off. As an example, if you go play golf for 3 days and don't come back till Tuesday, you could have lost 30% on your portfolio. So talk to me anytime. We've got answers.
What can Impression Design do for you?
I need a dozen embroidered polo shirts for my radio station. We can do that.
I need 300 screen printed shirts for a school fundraiser.
We can do that.
My company's website's a mess. It looks bad and no one can find us online. Help.
We can do that.
All right, I need a new logo for my radio show. I need a new website with a shopping cart so I can sell stuff. I need business cards. I need shirts for the listeners. Basically, I need everything.
We can do that.
Begin your French adventure at Le Pont. From our wide selection of classic appetizers, followed by one of Le Pont's creative and unique entrees. And if that's not enough, our desserts will amaze you, featuring Le Pont's famous soufflé. Every dish expertly prepared for you by our famous chef, Eddie Babai. Come and visit us.
I would love to cook for you.
Le Pont, a little bit of France on El Paseo.
Fundamental difference. It's a phrase that's used a lot at Renova Solar and SunPower. It means it's not just business as usual. It means Renova worked hard to be the first nationally accredited company. It means SunPower, an American company, has more than 200 solar patents and the most advanced and efficient panels available. And it means great partners for your solar. Whether you buy or lease, Renova Solar, local, brighter, better, and fundamentally different.
Today we're in Palm Desert at Desert Best Friends Closet, a nonprofit organization that helps outfit men and women who are getting back into the workforce. It's also a boutique where everything is $5. Today we're here with Connie Gold, the owner and the founder, and let's talk to her. Welcome, Connie.
thank you for coming to my place. I really appreciate that.
I've been here before. I'm also a volunteer.
Yes, she is.
I love this place, so I'm very up and close and personal with this place. But I wanted to ask you first, how did you come up with the idea? Tell us how you started.
My co-founder, Julie Arthur, and I, when we were sort of looking at sort of missing unmet needs here in the Coachella Valley. We originally were going to focus on prom, because you see all over the country people do prom dress programs, but there really isn't a program here. And so we were interested in starting one. And then we decided we didn't just want to do something that was one time a year, we wanted to have something that was year round. And so that's when we came up with the idea of providing interview attire for low-income men and women.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So the boutique is open to the public.
Yes.
But who are your clients in?
All clients have to have an appointment, and all clients have to be referred from an agency that we have an agreement with. And so we work with clients very close from the county GAIN program, which is your welfare to work program. We see clients from two local homeless shelters. We work with some clients from a lot of smaller agencies. We work very closely with clients from ABC Recovery and places like that. So when a client comes to us, they have an appointment, they're assigned a volunteer who works with them one-on-one to outfit them in clothes that would be appropriate for them to wear to a job interview.
Right, exactly. And where do you get most of your clothes?
99% of our clothing is donated, and we are so grateful for the strong support we have from the local community. We do have to purchase some of our clothing. We will never get enough clothing in the plus sizes that is young and contemporary and appropriate for an interview.
And the clothes that you cannot use, what do you do with the?
Some of the items we put in the boutique because we need to help fund and pay for what's happening in the back rooms, and then we re-gift things to other agencies, particularly Bargains Thrift Store. They're our best friends because they have a truck and they will pick up and haul the things out of here.
You also go to. Is it just high schools, or where do you go and
I
speak?
go to a lot of different places and speak. I go bi-monthly to the county offices. I do a presentation on how to prepare for a job interview, what to do before, during, and after.
So when you go and you speak about this, you're not just talking about outfitting, you're talking about maybe etiquette and everything else?
Business etiquette's really important. Simple things like the handshake. Mm-hmm. In American culture, eye contact is very important, and I always kind of bring up what does it mean when someone doesn't make eye contact with you, and how that I was in a situation where I was on a search team that our number one candidate lost the position because he didn't make consistent eye contact. We got to the point we didn't trust him. And it's about, clients need to understand how this is going to be perceived.
And everybody here that works here, they're all volunteers.
Everybody's a volunteer here.
And that says a lot because I love working here. I mean, the staff is amazing. We have so much fun here, and everybody works so well together. I mean, I do have to put that in. Now let's talk about the boutique a little bit. I wore this blouse today in honor of, I got it here, and $5. And any of you fashion hounds out there, this is, I know my labels, this is a Parker. So you'll go into a Nordstrom rack and you'll find this, and it is brand new. So this place is an amazing find if you are just like to get a find, which that's what I do, or you are on a budget. This is an amazing place. They're always getting new clothes in.
Always.
And just because it's in here doesn't mean the only things that go in there are work appropriate. So you'll find fun things, trendy things in here that are brand new, and that's why they're not in the other room.
Absolutely. Well, look at this. This is a leather jacket that we're going to sell for $5. Now, it's a beautiful jacket. We just probably wouldn't send someone out in a job interview in a leather jacket.
Exactly.
Particularly a yellow leather jacket. But we can still, we have operation costs. We have to pay our electricity, and we do, have to purchase clothing, and there's insurance. There's costs of doing business, no matter whether you're a nonprofit or not. So we need funding for that, and so this is a good source of funding for us.
Exactly, and you do a couple fundraisers.
Yes,
you did one. It was March.
It was March. It's our Put Your Best Shoe Forward.
Yeah.
That was really our first fundraiser.
Right.
And we had a fashion show of vintage fashions. It was put on by Mark Joseph of Wonderama in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
It was just lots of fun.
It was.
And so we're very excited about doing it again next year.
Everybody who has donations, please bring them in. You always think of Goodwill or Angel View. Think of Desert Best Friends Closet next time.
We don't charge our clients.
No, exactly. They don't charge their clients, and I just can't wait to see you grow and flourish and coming back to work.
Very great. We're looking forward to that. We could use you. We always need volunteers.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody that's looking for something to do, this is a great place to work. Okay, back to you.
All right, thanks, Tina. Conrad Negron here today with Carl Osborne. Right. Carl, nice to see you.
It says it right there.
It says right there. It's backfire.
Right.
Thanks for coming in.
Oh, I'm a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
How'd you get started? You're an attorney by trade. How did you get started? Where are you from?
Well, I'm I'm from England, actually. I was born in London, England, initially, and then I came to the United States when I was after World War II. It's an uncle of mine who was a big, famous British movie star in the 50s, James Mason, asked my dad to come and live in California and work with him, and so I came along for the ride, and I've been here ever since. And basically, I went to law school only because I didn't know anything else what to do. That's the truth.
The lawyers read the rules, don't they?
Yeah, so, well, the thing is that I said, well, what can I do I could scare people and make people look at me and get nervous? And I said, that's a lawyer. When you get a lawyer letter, that's the first thing is, oh, this is going to cost me a lot of money.
Hey, Carl, what was your kind of motivation to start writing books?
It was a hobby. Just when I go on a vacation, I could sit down and write, and it was entertaining to me. It was done for personal pleasure, not to public. Sell them or have other people read them, but eventually other people started reading them and liking them and giving me good reviews, and so it encouraged me to continue to do it. But it's a hobby of myself. Even today, I would rather sit down and write versus read somebody else's material.
Your most recent book, there was a story written from the Pentagon about the satellite systems and defense systems. Is that a little bit about what Backfire is about?
Right. I started writing Backfire before 9/11, and it was about an airplane being shot down by an errant missile because the guidance system didn't function. And my theories at the time didn't present itself well because of 9/11 happening and the terrorists blowing up stuff. So I figured I'd just leave it alone for a while because I didn't want to go that route. I changed it that the government were in a conspiracy, or the people in the Pentagon were conspiracy with the people who were making these weapons, so that they, even though they couldn't make them and they would falsify their tests, and they were being used to supposedly defend the United States, and they didn't work.
Now I want to read the book because you're getting everybody. You're putting me on edge. Right. Is that what the book's about?
Yeah, basically, and then eventually how it unravels, because a plane gets shot down by an errant missile. It's a guidance system that was put into the missile was manufactured by an American company. The tests were falsified. So when they put a drone up to fire at it, and it didn't hit the drone, it went after an aircraft. They had no control over it, and that's exactly what happened when I read the LA Times about 2-3 weeks ago. These companies were spending millions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money, and they're getting nowhere, and the journalists were discovering all of this fraud and what was going on. And it was presented to the senators and congressmen, and they didn't care. They continued, as the paper said, to support and finance this bogus defense program because it was keeping people employed in their communities.
So do you think, is the government contacting you? I mean, is this a conspiracy theory that's starting to come out now, or everybody's just going to have to read the book?
They're going to have to read the book. I don't want to be contacted by anybody.
Those are those kids that walk by. They're spies for the government.
They could be.
Carl Osborne, I really appreciate your time today. Everybody check out the new book, Backfired by Carl Osborne, and all your other books. We'll talk about that another time.